Hey friends, today we're going to be looking at landing pages, and we're going to be specifically looking at B2B landing pages. SaaSlandingpage.com is a great site to look at landing pages. I'm not saying they're great, but it's a great way to just evaluate and practice and say, what is the messaging hierarchy? What is the buyer? What is the goal? What are some of these pages can improve on? And it's really just to get an eye of like, okay, what are they all saying differently? Are they problem aware? Are they solution aware? Do they what are they taking into consideration? What are some questions we have? So let's get into it. So one of the things that, if we look at this one, for instance, Weave, AI customer support agents that actually resolve tickets. So what does that tell you? Instantly it tells you in that hero section what they do and what problem they solve. And I'm not against this headline. I do think it's like you got to be careful with a lot of cliches now, and AI has a lot of cliches. So saying something like actually resolves tickets is not the most original, and it's something that I think it's appearing more and more. But I do think saying what you do. So, what is your differentiator? AI support agents, and then that actually resolve tickets. So we're seeing the solution. So it is clear. I would say it's very clear. And then in the subheadline, they explain it more. Add your training content, adjust the tone, and let Weave sound like your best employee on their best day. Now, there's a lot of things we could dive into here just looking at the headlines of it. So yeah, it's clear. It shows what they are and what problems they solve. The subheadline kind of goes into more depth of add to your training content. So it gives it a more of where would this be? I'm not sure if I would say something AI customer support agents. I don't know if everyone else is saying that. I don't know. What is that? What is the unique mechanism that we're trying to get at? And if we're looking at the unique mechanism, what's the unique benefit that gets into it? If someone were reading this, I would want to know, like how long are they staying on the page? We can do an A/B test and heat maps and say, okay, is this something that's sticking around? You go to Winter and say, okay, what is it like the last? Winter is a testing site, so you can say, how long do people actually read this? What is their first impression of it? So test the headline. So there are different ways to go about it. But I would just be hesitant. AI customer support agents, is that the real differentiator? Maybe it's something that support agents actually do. It's like more of a mechanism. You could say something along those lines. But let's go to another page. So that's just an intro. So let's do this one. The trusted platform for building, training, and deploying clinical agents. This one actually I like less, just because when you say something like the trusted platform, I get you have the social proof on the bottom, but it's leaning into authority. It's leaning into building, training, deploying clinical agents. It's telling you what they do. It's not really specific on the outcome. It's not specific on the problem. It's not specific on the benefit. It's just telling you we train and deploy clinical agents. Like that in itself is the solution. It's like saying most trusted platform for selling cars, or Teslas. It's like, oh, well, why should I care? And you have to ask that question of like, why should the reader care? Why should they keep reading? Why should they keep looking at this? Make your care team feel 10 times bigger. See, now it gets into the benefit, and then while meeting the safety and reliable standards of healthcare. So I would almost think about how can we put that step headline more in the headline. I think Ogilvy said people are going to read your headline way more, 100 times more than the subheadline. So it's about how do we really capture attention of and clarity around who we are, what we do, and what problem we're solving. I mean, it's a lot of work because, I'm not saying you get this done in one try, but it's about what stage is our audience at when they're going through this? Are they unaware? Are they aware? Are they problem aware? Solution aware? They come from like a LinkedIn ad? They come from like a social ad, like Google ad. And when they see this, what message are we conveying? A lot of people don't put so much. They just want to stay in a landing page or they just want a website. But it does reflect your positioning. Does it reflect how you're different? It's the trusted platform. Well, of course, we would assume you're trusted. Okay, let's go to another one. I want to stick around that one. So let's do. Here's another one by SLPXL AI. It's an artificial with the mission of advancing scientific understanding and building powerful AI systems. So it's another example of like frontier AI models for everything you can imagine or for everything you imagine. Reasoning code. Again, like this positioning that seems to be going into the messaging is we do everything. Frontier AI is an artist, so it's an artificial company with the mission of advanced scientific understanding and building powerful AI systems. I'm just hesitant because it doesn't where's that unique mechanism? Where's that unique differentiator? And like saying you're the most trusted, saying you're a frontier AI models for everything you imagine. What is the reason people are going to buy you? And that is the question you have to ask, especially in your positioning of you could lead with a wedge into the market. You could be, you could be a platform. And everyone has a trade-off. You could be, how you position into going head to head as a category. But there is a lot of different ways to go about it. And you may even have your positioning nailed down, but your messaging is not reflecting that. So when it says frontier AI models for everything you can imagine, cool. Yeah, I really need that. It doesn't really seem like I would need that. Or the buyer would need that because they don't really understand what it means. Okay, so let's do one more just so I like to just talk about these. Here's a common headline: turn docs into adoption. You see the word turn, transform, turn this into this, turn this into this, turn this. So you see that there's a transformation in the headline, transformation from this to this, X to Y. README is a documentation platform that transforms static API preferences into So I like that it's 4 words, turn docs into adoption. I like the transformation. Again, I don't know. I would really think, is this clear to the reader? I get it's snappy and people are like, oh, good copywriting is snappy and gets punchy. But we live in an age now, you have AI, you have all these tools, research, and this. Is that the best headline and copy we can come up with? 2, is that what your customers and buyers are thinking? And 3, is that actually going to get them to get started? So those are 3 things we have to think about rather than just going, okay, turn docs into adoption. Oh, that's that's a cool way of saying it. I don't care about cool. I care about results, I care about outcomes, I care about, is this going to get them down the page and get them to click it and say, oh, turn docs into adoption. That sounds so cool. I'm going to build docs loved by developers and understood by AI. Oh man, that solves all my world crisis problems. Yeah. So I don't know if this does that. I think it could do a better job really turning up the clarity, getting specific. Because again, if your audience, if you are really nailing down your position, your audience is not Ben Watkins, especially if you're them to read me. Your audience is not everyone. Your audience is very specific. So if they see this and turn it off to them, would they instantly get it and go, yes, I need that? So we're just looking at hero sections with the landing pages, but it's about how can we drive clarity down the page, get someone to say yes, and are reflecting what the buyer wants, what they need, want, desire. And yeah, that's all I have for today.